We'll begin with an opening comment from Coach Riley, and then we'll hop into questions. Coach?
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Mike. Thanks everybody for joining on today. Yeah, it's been a good journey with this team. Certainly excited as we get a little bit closer here to game week. I think for our team, this is all starting to feel a little bit more real, and so that's been I think a big positive for us right now. Is there's kind of that game in sight now, and you can tell a difference for the team and way we're practicing, guys getting better quickly. So been fun to start to feel that game coming closer. Also been positive on the COVID front. We've been able to get a lot of those guys back that were affected, several weeks back. So it's been good to have a few more bodies out there, and had a pretty successful last couple of weeks. Certainly as far as the COVID, the procedures, the testing, all that, and it's settled down and been an outstanding last couple of weeks. So certainly, going to have to continue that. As we've said before, it's going to be a week-to-week deal. Also made a decision. Spencer Rattler will start the season at quarterback. Been a little bit different competition. Spencer, I think he's played very well, and certainly I think he's very deserving of it. Disappointed for Tanner Mordecai. He had to end up missing about 70 to 75% of fall camp, which obviously severely limited his reps or true opportunities to really go play his best ball and have a shot at it. But I mean, that's football, whether it's an injury or, as we know in this climate right now with COVID and all the different ways that can knock guys out of playing time, practice time, all of that. That's something that each and every team at a lot of different positions is going to have to deal with. So he'll be ready to bounce back. It's been good to have him back at practice and feel like we've got two very competent players there at the quarterback position. So with that, we'll take questions.
Okay, we'll begin with Eric Bailey from Tulsa World, and then Ryan Aber. Eric?
Hey, Lincoln, your last three starting quarterbacks have had different styles of leadership. They all had previous starting experience when they assumed their role. What kind of leader have you seen in Spencer, and is it any way comparable to what you had with Baker, Kyler, and Jalen?
They're all a little bit different. Probably, yeah, it's hard to compare. I mean, there's some bits and pieces of all of them. I don't know that, probably he's definitely different than Jalen, probably a little bit more outgoing, maybe somewhere in between Kyler and Baker a little bit. But yeah, has a, natural confidence and kind of charisma about himself, and always, he seems to always have a lot of confidence regardless of the situation that he's in, which I think is key for anybody at that position. So I think his confidence and belief in himself, his teammates, I think that's the thing that I would say stands out the most about him right now. And he's never been afraid of the moment, which again, for young players, that's a key thing. And I don't know that that's really coached. That's just something that guys either have or they don't at a young age.
Thanks, Lincoln.
Okay, let's go to Ryan Aber with the Oklahoman, and then Joe Bettner.
Yeah, Lincoln, obviously this quarterback race is a lot different for a lot of reasons. And you mentioned, Tanner missing all that time. I know you're confident in Spencer Rattler, but do you feel like you had enough data, enough time seeing these guys to make this decision? Or is it just a timeline thing where you sort of have to do it, here pretty quick?
Yeah, no, I kind of went through all those, scenarios. I mean, this one's, like we said before, this one is so new and unprecedented for so many reasons. So you're just kind of taking it as it comes and trying to make the best decision. I mean, Spencer certainly has performed well enough to be the starter. There's no question about that. Sure, just the competitor in you and the coach who loves competition. You'd love to have seen every single player here healthy for every practice and getting the same amount of reps, the same amount of coaching experience, all that. But it's never reality of football. And then this year, more than others, I mean, there's not one position that we don't have some of that as well. And again, whether it's been an injury, whether it's been a COVID related absence, we're dealing with that all over the place. You've got some guys that have had 5 practices, some guys that have had 10, some guys that have had 20. I mean, it's just kind of a moving target. So I think you just got to deal with it the best you can. And as far as making the decision now, just felt like there was enough separation right now, and felt like that just kind of for our offense that it was important to give us an opportunity to, have, this mock game week, which we're in right now, and then another full week of game week, just because not only is all this COVID stuff new, we're also operating on a little bit different schedule than what we've done in the past, practicing in the mornings a little bit more. So just felt like for all those reasons, it was the right time.
Appreciate it, Lincoln.
And let's go to Joe Bettner with the Norman transcript, and then Jason Kersey.
Hey, Lincoln, was just curious, you mentioned how, outgoing Spencer is, and I'm curious, how have the guys gravitated maybe toward him as, being a guy that's only been in the system for a year? I'm curious just what his leadership has been like and how those teammates have seen him throughout practice as being a guy that can be your, starting quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know that it'd be too much different than the answer previously. I mean, I think they see confidence and a joy or, kind of love of competing, and a guy that's, has grown up. He's addressed some of the areas that he needed to improve on. Not that he doesn't have a lot to grow. He obviously has a ton, but so no, I think they've appreciated that about him. I mean, I really feel like our team has a lot of confidence in that room. I feel like our guys don't really miss a beat with anybody in that room. That's a credit to those guys. And but Spencer's, yeah, he's done a good job. He's been himself, and he's pretty. He kind of is who he is on the field, and I think they respect that about him, and the way he goes about his business.
We'll go to Jason Kersey at The Athletic, and then Caleb McCory.
Yeah, Lincoln, you offered Spencer Rattler a scholarship, I think, when he was a sophomore in high school. Is that earlier than you typically like to offer quarterbacks? And if so, what did you see in him to make you pull the trigger on that offer that early?
Yeah, I think it was the spring of his freshman year. I don't. Rarely do we ever offer anybody at any position at that age, much less a quarterback. But no, I liked what I saw on tape. I thought, the level of ball he was playing against some pretty good competition. Some of the things he did as a freshman, and a young guy that probably wasn't physically ready for all that. Some of the things he did there were impressive. You could see he, had a strong natural ability to throw the football and process and kind of a playmaking ability. So I liked him. And then once I got a chance to go out and see him live that spring, got to kind of see and confirm some of the things I saw on film. I just, I felt like he had all the skills necessary if he continued to develop them, that he was going to have a chance to be a really good player and would have a chance to be a successful player, for us. And so, and even when we offered him, it was, look, we're offering you right now, but, this is based on some of what we see, but also a little bit of a projection too. So, if you want that offer to stand, you're going to have to continue to improve. You still got a long ways to go. And we, anytime we offer somebody that, and that's something we talk to them about this is, you've got to continue to progress and improve. And felt like he did through the years.
Thanks.
Okay, Caleb McCory of the OU Daily, and then Cliff Brunt.
Hey, Coach, this is just a hypothetical, and God forbid this were to happen, but let's say you were to test positive before a game. What's the game plan for game day?
Honestly, sadly, still waiting on that. No, nothing from the NCAA. Nothing really from our conference on that. So I couldn't tell you. We've got contingencies in place for whatever they decide. I know there's been talks of, do you allow a separate coach's box, for anybody that has tested positive, to still be able to coach. I can't, past that, I can't imagine anybody being able to be involved in game day operations. So, if it goes that way, we've got a plan. And if it goes to where myself or any other coach wasn't there. We've got a plan for each and every one of them. So hopefully we'll find out something here soon so we know which way to go, and hopefully we don't have to have that conversation.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, Cliff Brunt with AP, and then John Hoover.
Coach, just wondering if your running back situation has cleared itself up a little bit. You got a lot of guys in that room, a lot of guys with talent. Just how's that looking, and has anybody emerged ahead of the others?
Yeah, it's a good room. It's definitely a good room. I mean, I think, TJ Pledger's setting the pace right now, in that room. He's really practiced well. He's been our most consistent player. I think he's in the best shape that he's been in here, healthy, just really, really, doing some nice things. So, and then I think all of us are gaining a lot of confidence, and obviously Ramondre's got some game experience and has some very, very, very good skill set. No question, he's going to be a big factor. And then gaining a lot of confidence in Marcus Major and Seth McGowan. So I feel like it's a good group. It's a talented group. They're all getting a lot of reps. They're all getting better quickly. I feel like, you can certainly foresee scenarios where all those guys have not only just a role, but a big role on this football team.
Okay, we'll go to John Hoover and then James Hale.
Hey, Lincoln, curious about Spencer. What specific areas would you say that he's shown really the most growth when you think back to his freshman season? What areas has he really developed? And then did he really attack whatever weaknesses he might have had?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I would say his just knowledge of our offense and what we want to do and why we're doing things and just the kind of understanding the whole picture there has probably been the biggest area of improvement. And that's just taking his preparation. And I don't know that it was any different than most young quarterbacks that come in, but it's the level of preparation at this level to play that position, the way we expect is I don't care what high school you came out of. This is a different deal, and it's a big step up for everybody. So I think it was, positive for him to have seen the way Jalen prepared, to be able to know, especially Kyler a little bit and the way those guys worked. I think it set a good example for all the guys in our room. But he's you could tell Spencer's grown up some, which, again, that's not anything earth-shattering. Guys are supposed to come here and grow up some. That's part of the deal. But I think he has. I think his preparation has continued to improve, and I think he's mentally in a good place as far as his progression in our offense. So the physical skills have been there, the playmaking ability's been there, but it's just really cleaned a lot of things up. So it's as with any player, and especially one that young, there's still going to be a ton of growth that's going to happen. But I think he's on a good trajectory right now.
Thank you.
Let's go to James Hale with KREF, and then Barry Trammell.
Lincoln, this is going to be such a unique year with COVID 2020 that your entire depth is probably going to have to be used, or you're going to have to, at least get it ready. So as you had your second scrimmage and things, what young players are standing out to you, and what players maybe we haven't seen a lot of caught your eye during practice up to this point, because this may be a year you got to play everybody on your roster.
Yeah, no, it's it's been fun to see. I would say this recruiting class as a whole, talk about the new guys that just came in. I think one of the exciting things for us right now is you look at every single player, and some of them are at different points, but every single player has got a shot. No doubt. Even you got some that are, I think ready to help this football team this year, and got a chance to continue to press on and do very well. You got some that may be a short time away, but I don't feel like we've got anybody that's a long ways away, and that's so I think that's just top to bottom the class. We've been really pleased with where that class is at and the opportunity that they're all going to have. As far as standouts, they kind of all have their bright moments, and then they all, sometimes look like freshmen, but there's, No, there's definitely been some guys that really prove. I would say some guys on the roster that have stood out. Bray Walker's had a really nice camp. I mentioned T.J. Pledger and the job that he's done. He's certainly been an impressive guy. Been impressed with our two transfer receivers. They've done some really nice things. Brian Asamoah is a player that's been much improved, I think, on the defensive side. Again, I know I said this before, been pleased with Robert Barnes and Jamal Morris. I think they've been certainly a bright spot, that transition from them from the secondary down to linebacker. I think much improved there. Jay Cradell is a guy that stood out and has really continued to improve as well. Isaiah Thomas has had a really strong camp. Been very, very pleased with him. Rush position, I think, is continuing to get better and better. Between Nick Benito, John Michael Terry, those guys I think are quite a bit better football players than where they were at. So again, there's I could darn near go through everybody on the roster, and there's a level of excitement about the majority of our players, and now it's just continuing to take them through the progression. So certainly more excited about than not, but a lot of work yet to be done.
Thanks, Lincoln.
Okay, Barry Trammell with the Oklahoman, and then Bob Prisbillo.
Yeah, Lincoln, when you look at Baker, when Baker started here, he had some experience. Kyler had a little. Jalen had a lot. These guys don't have any. Are you having to coach different? And is your expectation level tempered by the fact that for the first time ever, these guys have zero experience on the college field?
No, I think I always coach different. I mean, I think it's you coach the guys that you have, and every player that you have in there is going to have different strengths, weaknesses, experience level. And I've said this many times about this group. You got kind of two levels of experience. You've got on the field game experience, and you've got experience level within our system, running our plays. And so, it's kind of varied levels all over, as you mentioned, but I think I always coach different. I think guys learn differently. Guys need different things. Guys have different strengths and weaknesses. So it doesn't feel different there. But, we were always going to try to attack the areas that we think that they need to improve on the most. As far as expectations different, no. I mean, these guys are more than capable of running this offense and playing the position the way, we expect it to be played. And I think they're gonna do some really good things. I think we've got some good players around them, and our expectations for how they play and for how our offense plays have certainly not changed.
Okay, Bob Prisbillo with Sooner Scoop, and then Brandon Drum.
Yeah, Lincoln, NCAA recently ruled that no matter what happens this year, no one's losing the year eligibility. First of all, do you agree with that? And secondly, any suggestions on scholarship limits or what the steps that are going to have to be taken to try to make this happen smoothly moving forward?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a decision they made. I mean, any decision they were going to make was going to have some positives and negatives to it. So I don't know that there's a right one. I mean, I'm happy for our players and all the players across college football. It's a huge win for them. At some point, this is going to be a loss for the high school player because there is going to be a trickle down effect here. And at some point, your rosters, it sounds like after the first year, your rosters are going to have to, get back down to the normal 85 limit, which is, going to provide some challenges. So, yeah, no, it's a big decision. You certainly understand why the decision was made. There's going to be a lot of repercussions of that decision, and it's going to take a lot of work by schools, legislative branches. I mean, everybody to figure this out because it's going to create some different situations than we've ever been in. So we're going to have to work together to figure it out.
Okay, let's go to Brandon Drum with OU Insider.
Hey, Lincoln, appreciate you doing this. You talked about Spencer Rattler. You named him the starting quarterback, but the other guys, Tanner Mordecai, Chandler Morris, how confident are you in them as far as their overall understanding and progression as well? I guess, in the offense and just total mentality.
Extremely. I don't know that there's a quarterback room in America that I would rather have. I mean, I love the room. I love the competitiveness. I love the skill level that we have in there. You mentioned, Tanner and the job he's done here. I've been very pleased with Chandler Morris, the way he's prepared and ability he's shown. And then, Tanner Schaefer in our room, who's kind of been a long-standing guy. That's a very valuable member of our room as well. So, I mean, it's a very good room. And, we certainly know, and each and every year this can happen, but certainly know you're going to need everybody in that room some way, somehow this year. And so I think it's a room that gives us a chance to win and a chance to play very well with a lot of different guys in there. So a very, very, very high confidence level in that group right now.
Coach, I've got 3 more in the queue. Do you have time to knock those out?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Let's go to Garen Emig of the Tulsa World, and then Keegan Rennell.
Lincoln, real quick, could you just clarify, did Tanner miss so much camp time because of COVID, or was there an injury, or what was it that kept him out?
I don't know that I'd want to go there with it. But he's back full go with us right now.
Okay. Question would be, do you feel better knowing you have experience on an offensive line coming into a new season, or experience at quarterback, game experience? Does one matter more than the other in your mind?
They're both helpful. I think the thing you maybe don't want to have neither. So, it's great that we certainly have one. I think there's definitely more competition, more game experience. I mean, there's, expectations are high for how we need to play on the offensive line. And, that's whether a quarterback's played in 2 games or he's played in 20 games, having a great offensive line is your best friend. And so that's certainly, we certainly got high expectations for how that group can and will play. And that obviously is going to have a direct impact on our quarterback play as well.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, our last 2 questions will go to Keegan Rennell of Sooners Wire, and then Kerry Murdoch.
Yeah, Lincoln, I know Baker talked about how important it was for him to sit that 1 year whenever he was here in 2014. Just how important was it for Spencer to sit behind Jalen, specifically just with his leadership and work ethic he had?
Yeah, no, it was a great learning experience for him. I mean, they're 2 very different personalities, but there's still so much you can take, from especially a guy that'd been in the fire as much as Jalen had. So, no, I think it was a learning experience, and not that you'll take every single thing that somebody did, but I do think there's a ton of positive points. And I think the time is always important for a young quarterback, just to kind of see how this thing works and how do you install and how do you game plan and what's this process like and how do you lead and the ups and downs, and to be able to get a feel for that and be in the middle of it without everything, without so much of it falling on your shoulders at that point is a great thing. But they got to use it the right way, and I feel like our young quarterbacks have.
Thank you.
Final question to Kerry Murdoch of Sooner Scoop and Sports Animal.
Lincoln, you mentioned just how positive it's been in practices because they can kind of see the games. We saw a game this weekend. It looked like it was, for the most part, played really well. I don't know if you ever thought like college football was going to be kind of ugly this year, but does it give you hope that this is going to kind of look like for the fans what they're used to looking like or what they're seeing?
Yeah, no, oh yeah, no, I think the quality of ball will be very good. The one elephant in the room, the one question that you can't answer on that is what impact does COVID have if we go through this? And all of a sudden, if you pop in there and lose, a lot of people and still attempt to play a football game, then it's obviously the quality of ball is not going to be quite as high. Doesn't mean it's not playable, not doable, not still, work the competition, fun to watch, all that. But that's the one outlier. I mean, if we're able to not lose a mass of people, we're going to be able to play good football, and I would imagine a lot of people will be able to as well.